Thank you, Reese, and welcome to Chicago on a beautiful Labor Day weekend as we kick off the college football season here on ESPN. We're just a few miles up Lakeshore Drive in Evanston, Illinois, on campus at Northwestern. Welcome to college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com. Today from Ryan Field in Evanston, the number 21 Stanford Cardinal against Northwestern, the Wildcats, as both of these teams open their 2015 season. Stanford has won the toss and will receive. McCaffrey a yard deep in the end zone. And the star running back takes it out to the 24-yard line. Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Patrick, Ed Cunningham. It's great to have you with us. Dr. Jerry Punch will join us shortly. We have an intriguing quarterback matchup for you this afternoon. An accomplished fifth-year senior against a redshirt freshman, very talented, but yet to play his first game.
Northwestern really struggled on offense last year, and it wasn't the quarterback. It was the receivers and running backs that were hurt. But Clayton Thorson comes in, highly recruited young man. They really expect a lot out of him. But the game today will go through the hands of Kevin Hogan, the senior quarterback, a guy who struggled a bit early last year, played wonderful at the end of the season.
Flag down on the first play, and Kevin Hogan, your starting quarterback for Stanford, 24-8 as a starting quarterback as he followed Andrew Luck. He's an accomplished passer and runner. Behind Luck, 913 yards rushing for his career. And last year at the end of the season, he caught fire. The last 3 games, hit 76% of his passes, and that was number 1 in the country. 4-man rush, plenty of time, and to his outstanding tight end Austin Hooper.
And a fumbled exchange in the zone read on the very first play, so they went to 2nd and long, and then there you see Hogan. He just last year, what they talk about here for the quarterback at Stanford is rhythm and balance. It's what they've gone all the way back to the beginning with Jim Harbaugh when David Shaw was an assistant under Harbaugh. You can see there he shuffles up, and excellent accuracy. The game that he played against UCLA, Hogan, last year, was as accurate as I've ever seen a quarterback. The most he missed a throw by was a foot or two.
It's a power formation here on 3rd and a long 2. McCaffrey, student body right, cut it back. Got a good block from Daniel Marks, the fullback. Opened up the seam for him, and they've got a first down.
Oh, we'll take a look at our impact players. Of course, Christian McCaffrey, one of them who flew onto the scene last year at the end of the season, over 7 yards per carry. His dad, Ed, was a great here at Stanford in the NFL. Rollins Stallworth gets his first start of his career as a 5th-year senior. Dean Lowry can be dominant at times at ends, and Nick Van Hoos, a starting corner in a secondary for Northwestern that, I don't know if they'll be tops in the Big Ten, but they're going to be awfully good by the end of the season.
This will be a real test for the Stanford passing game, and firing through Dean Lowry out of Rockford, Illinois. Number 12 on the all-time sack list for the Wildcats. That time showed you could play the run.
Well, here he is. He's going to come right down inside, a very quick move. The right tackle there, Casey Tucker, has no chance to do it. Very difficult block for Tucker, but a good job by Lowry. This is a guy that they really need to step up in his last year, have his best season, and he was dominant at times last season.
Hogan again with time, and he can spin it. Got this one out for a first down into Northwestern territory as Rollins Stallworth out of Reno, Nevada makes the catch for 12.
Well, Stallworth in there, his biggest credit before coming into this season when he was the 2013 Scout Team Player of the Year. That was the biggest thing that happened to him, but there's a first half suspension for Michael Rector. He was suspended during camp for violation of team rules, so Rector out for the first half. Stallworth gets the start, and a big day for the senior.
They'll go with 4 wideouts on first down. They are fully capable, running this multiple offense, of spreading the field and sending McCaffrey out of the backfield. They will flank him out, put him out as a wide receiver, as a flanker. They'll put him in the slot. He's just a multi-talented kid, and they want to get him in space as often as they can.
And the problem with Stanford is you've noticed how many spread formations they've run. You mentioned 4 wide receivers a moment ago. Stanford is built to be a physical run, 2-back, 2 tight end type of offense that can also expand out. And when they can take McCaffrey and move him and get him covered by Jalen Prater, you're going to win that every time. And Hogan just looks like he's in command.
Now back to the eye with only 1 wide receiver. They make you defend everything. McCaffrey, little delay. Big hole up the middle. McCaffrey inside the 25 for a first down. Joshua Garnett, who's their most experienced offensive lineman, led the way.
Yeah, this is you're going to see the right side is going to block down, get a power block. Good job there. Excellent job by the fullback. But that is Joshua Garnett, a guy who you study him on film. He's a big, smooth, powerful athlete with long arms. I think if he wants to play in the NFL, I think he's going to play for a really long time.
Last 3 plays have yielded 12, 13, and 12. Ramon Wright will give McCaffrey a breather as the tailback. He wears number 22, and he gets the carry. Big hole for Wright. Right at the sticks at the 14-yard line.
Mentioned the fullback Daniel Marks on the last block. This is a guy who's just, now he's lined up as a wing, but watch the cut block he gets on Adenabo. Just a wonderful job. And Mark's a young man. This is Stanford's becoming kind of O-line U, tight end U.
Yes.
But the amount of fullbacks that they're putting in the NFL, and they feel like this guy Marks will be the next one to be a NFL guy at that position. Sure looked great there and the play before.
Now 5 wide receivers. McCaffrey is to the wide side of the field, to the top of your screen. He'll get the throw a little high, trying for a quick flanker screen, but Matthew Harris read it beautifully and came flying up from the corner to make a tackle.
Good time to visit with Matthew Harris yesterday. That was good recognition. He said the biggest growth that he's seen personally is just knowing what everyone's doing, knowing formations. That time, you mentioned McCaffrey's out there, so he's thinking, wait a minute, this is not going to be a regular run. So nice job by Harris recognizing that.
It's a time-consuming drive already inside 10 minutes. McCaffrey back at tailback. They fake it to him, and they'll give it to Owusu on the flanker around, and Northwestern diagnoses it beautifully. It's going to be tough to fool anybody on either one of these ball clubs. Remember, it's Stanford and Northwestern.
Man, Tyler Lancaster, he's going to come on a stunt, and then watch him chase this down. There's he just beat the guy to the outside. That is just excellent job by an inside defensive tackle. Good run, good tackle. And now you're 3rd and long for Stanford. You're in a throw down with no vertical stretch. So you've got to think this is something where they're trying to get McCaffrey or somebody the ball, see if he can work past the sticks as quickly as possible.
Hooper makes a great target down here. He's in at tight end. Instead, they're going to throw for McCaffrey. They end up with a double team, and it's too high. Coming over from his safety spot, Travion Henry, but Anthony Walker, the linebacker, had a man-to-man as he came out.
Yeah, they ran an out and up to McCaffrey. That was just terrific coverage by Anthony Walker, the middle linebacker. The safety gets there, but it was pressure, finally. Pressure from the defensive line. We saw good run game play, but that time the defensive line got some pressure, and Hogan had to throw it a touch early.
Conrad Ukropina is on for the field goal try. Only hit 2 or 4 a year ago, but he's perfect on that one. And Stanford, they probably won't be happy with the result. They only got 3, but boy, what an impressive opening drive.
I'm going back to my roots another day, another door, another high.
This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
Surf's up. Beautiful on the shores of Lake Michigan here on the North Shore, Northwestern and Stanford.
I think a squirrel could probably catch one of those waves. You've seen a surfing squirrel?
No. Don't really want to. Jake Bailey will kick it away. And Solomon Vault got a touchdown return a year ago. Trying to duplicate that, takes it up to the 24-yard line. The Northwestern quarterback, Clayton Thorson, making his first career start. Came out of high school in the ESPN 300 as the 7th-ranked quarterback in the country. Threw for almost 3,000 yards and 41 touchdowns in his high school career.
Yeah, the last time he got hit in a game, the defensive ends were 5'8", 190 pounds. So things will be a little different against an basically all new Stanford defense from last year. 9 new starters. So Stanford wondering what they have as well.
Vitale was the man in motion. This is Justin Jackson, the 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago, who they will count on heavily to help this offense until Clayton Thorson can get his feet under it.
And what a difference a year makes. Last year, of course, Northwestern lost their best player in Venrick Mark, a running back right before the season, to a transfer, and this young freshman had to step up and went for over 1,000. Nice job.
Trips right, and they'll go to Vitale on the flanker screen. He'll pick up a couple before Callum Baya makes the tackle.
And this for Pat Fitzgerald, the head coach at Northwestern. They have so much more speed on offense than they had last year. That 3rd and 5 last year, a lot of times it was a rundown, and they were just afraid to throw it sometimes. They didn't think anybody could get open. But now they can be more aggressive, and they really like Thorson, a guy who has a good arm and is fast enough to run the option.
Stanford comes with 4. Thorson hit from behind and drilled Kevin Anderson, who has the pass rush skills you want as an outside linebacker, got the free shot.
Well, Anderson going up against new left tackle Jeff Mogus. Mogus moving out from the guard position, and this is a really difficult transition from guard to tackle, especially left tackle. Anderson does a good job of collapsing the hands of Mogus. Good rush, but that's a tough switch for a guy in his first game going from guard to tackle for Mogus.
Northwestern, very young cover guys. This is McCaffrey back at the 25. Swarmed under, but somehow gets out of it, makes another man miss, then taken down inside the 20. Good job by those kids. A loss of 7 on the return. Keith Watkins, the second, makes the tackle. And for Clayton Thorson, welcome to college football. This is what it's like against the big boys.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. Now Cars.com helps you get the right service without all the drama. And in part by Dick's Sporting Goods, every season starts at Dick's.
It looks good, doesn't it? That's Bat 17 on Benson Avenue, voted Evanston's best place to eat by a collection of some of the brightest minds around. That would be the Northwestern student body. Stanford with its second possession. The Cardinal starts from its 18. McCaffrey. One of the reasons Kevin Hogan struggled last year, there's a flag down in this play. One of the reasons Kevin Hogan struggled a lot last year was something that nobody else knew, and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 51. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Jalen Prater who gives him a first down, but Jerry Punch knows the reason, and this is a very touching story, isn't it, Doc?
Mike, it is. He was trying to struggle with coping with the fact that his father, Jerry, was battling cancer. His dad, a prominent Washington attorney, would die on December 8th. You know, late in the year when Hogan was struggling, it was an open date. He went to see his dad, and his dad said, son, live every day to its fullest. Live every day to its fullest. Don't worry about yesterday or tomorrow. And that's what Kevin Hogan did, and suddenly there was a calm, and his game completely changed.
And Jerry, that last 3 games that he played, he hit 76% of his passes. So obviously that had a tremendous impact on him. And he, all during that time, he had to endure people getting on his case about why aren't you playing any better. And that must have been just an extremely difficult time in his life.
Seeing him earlier in the year, and then I went in yesterday and I watched the UCLA game, he just was a completely different player. And I think Jerry said it right, that he just calmed himself. He realized it's just a game. I don't have to put all this pressure on myself. And when we were talking to David Shaw, the head coach, he said he just relaxed. His shoulders dropped. He was comfortable. He would breathe more. And you really see it in the passing game. He's just taken some off of the ball.
Realized every pass didn't have to be perfect. McCaffrey on the screen, and Anthony Walker, what a play. He saw that coming from about 10 yards away and was all over McCaffrey.
Walker, a young man who was forced into the lineup last year at middle linebacker because Collins Ellis went out with concussions, and they just really liked what this young man saw and did right away. And right now, Hogan's lucky that he wasn't one step closer. He was half a step from maybe getting his hands on that ball. What an excellent job to force 3rd and long, and now you can play off coverage. But Hogan, plenty of arm, very comfortable with longer throws.
Walker, the only returning starting linebacker. He's at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 14. Here's the read option, and Wright only gets a couple. Igwe Buke made the stop. He came up from his safety spot.
You know, the last drive, Stanford goes all the way down the field, and they got a little cute with the reverse, and they end up with 3. You feel like if they just run it, they probably have 7. This time, you get to 3rd and long, you have a quarterback who may have been playing the best ball in the country last year, and you hand it off. Awfully conservative early here for Stanford. That's normally what they do, but if I got a quarterback like that, I'd want to be throwing that down the field.
Robinson kicks it away, kicks it out of bounds. Solomon Vault was back there but didn't get a chance to return it. Well, come on in, fellas. Still got seats at Ryan Field. Why wait to start talking about the playoffs? Let's start talking about it tonight. Got number 20 Wisconsin, number 3 Alabama at 8 Eastern on ESPN, as well as streaming live at home and on the go with Watch ESPN. Paul Chryst, the new head coach at Wisconsin, built his reputation as a tremendous offensive coordinator.
It worked out well, I think, for Wisconsin, losing Gary Anderson, who wanted to move back west, went to Oregon State.
Thorson on the option.
And this is for Thorson something that coming in, he was a highly rated dual threat quarterback, not just a throwing quarterback. 6'4", 6'5", taller guy, but has enough speed, runs in that kind of 4.5, 4.6 range, and this is a nice option that they can keep in the pocket.
Rolling and throws to the near side. A very short completion to Christian Jones, who missed all of last year and is a very important part of their passing game. A huge receiver in the slot at 6'3", 230.
Second senior year for Jones. Thought he was going to have one last year, hurt his knee. Within 24 hours, they lost Christian Jones, their best receiver the 2 previous years, and Venrick Mark, their best player last year during camp within a 24-hour period. Just an awful time for them.
That pretty much took care of the offense, didn't it? High snap. Thorson gets the handoff to Justin Jackson. And Justin Jackson, who rushed for almost 1,200 yards a year ago, got a good block from Dickerson and goes for 15.
Brand new starter Brad North at center, taking over for a 4-year starter. Throws it a little high, but Thorson does an excellent job. And when you study Jackson, the running back, he doesn't look that fast, but he gains a whole lot of yardage. He's a very smooth runner, so it doesn't look like he's gaining a ton of yardage, but he runs that outside stretch really well.
Stanford shows blitz. Thorson runs around it and then slides in safely at the 46. Pretty smart for a redshirt freshman.
We were talking to the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, Mick McCall, about Thorson being a taller guy who can run. Does he know how to slide? And he said, we practice that as much as I've ever had someone practice it. He said he doesn't do it naturally. Some guys just have the good timing of when to do it. So it's pretty good job there.
It's a gain of 3. 3-man rush, and the 3 guys got there. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Harrison Phillips out of Omaha, 6'4", 278, just pushed the pocket.
I saw Phillips before warm-ups. He is a stud. Look how much he just shoves the offensive lineman back there. Big, powerful guy, thin waist, looks like he moves very well. So people a little surprised he won a starting role, but you could see why. Good power there.
3rd and 7. 4-man rush this time. Thorson throws underneath and got it complete to Christian Jones. He's the leading receiver in 2012, the leading receiver in 2013.
He can't do much without his shoe. His shoe came off after this catch. But for Trevor Siemian, the starter last year, you just didn't have this throw. You didn't have a guy that could get that open 7 yards down the field. What a nice relief it is, and a good deal that they've got a young quarterback that can get it to him.
Sort of settle the nerves for Thorson, and he hands to Justin Jackson. He's on all the running back lists for awards at the end of the season, the Maxwell Trophy, the Doak Walker Award.
When you're getting blocking like this at the point of attack, I mean, that's just a blow-up by the right guard. And right tackle Shane Mers and Eric Olson just blew them up. And you get a running game going and able to spread it, this can be very dangerous.
This is Warren Long getting a chance to run the ball. He is triple teamed and taken down a couple of yards shy of a first down. Blake Martinez in on the stop. Led this team in tackles a year ago with over 100.
A lot of people wanted Stanford and talking to them, and this was their only starter. Blake Martinez was their only true starter coming back. And in talking to some of the defensive coaches and David Shaw, they feel good about the talent, but one of the best defenses in the country last year, you lose almost every starter. And right now, Northwestern getting a little rhythm going.
Jackson again, big hole this time, first down and more. Jackson inside the 20. He has a first down. Shane Mertz led the way. Elijah Holder had to make the tackle after a gain of 19. This is an impressive Northwestern drive. And they're going hurry up. Thornton gives to Jackson again. And the Northwestern offensive line is winning the battle.
And we'll go back a play. Watch Mertz as he pulls around. He's the biggest guy on the team, 6'8", 320, in there mostly because Matt Frazier, who was expected to start, as a staph infection. But Mertz, they ran the exact same play on the next down. Good play calling, and they've got this defense on their heels. Remember, early start for Stanford, 9 o'clock West Coast time start, and this defense looks a little gassed.
Solomon Vault was the man in motion. He's the new running back. Thorson to the end zone, almost intercepted. That time he did not throw a good pass, and Cody Whitfield, standing yard deep in the end zone, just dropped it.
Looked like he had that moment of maybe trying to pull this one back. But boy, he going for Christian Jones and just did not see the underneath coverage. And that was Martinez, the middle linebacker, and also safety coming over. But here you go. Key third down. You may want to move the pocket.
Thorson, throw tipped off the hand of Vitale, the fullback slash tight end. So just like Stanford, they bog down when they get deep in their opponent's territory, and they will go the field goal route with Jack Mitchell.
And that one, you'd hope Vitale comes out with that catch, a senior who had 40 catches last year, but that's also a ball for a young quarterback. You'll learn to take a little bit off of it, but that's a catch that should have been made. Not sure they get the first, but you may go for it on 4th and 1.
Mitchell, who missed only once inside 40 a year ago, true on that one. And Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald's kids come out and answer the bell. They've tied it at 3.
Back to you guys.
Pat Fitzgerald just saw his ball club go downfield and tie it up on a short field goal after Stanford had done the same on the opening possession.
We saw Northwestern against Michigan here last year in a tough loss. They go for 2 at the end. How much better does his offense look explosively than what we saw in 2014?
Matt McCucci kicking to McCaffrey from the 2. Has the seam, takes it out to the 30. And Kevin Hogan will start from there.
Well, one thing you've gotten at Stanford since Jim Harbaugh got here and then left is just awesome offensive line play. Huge hole for McCaffrey on the pull around by the left guard Garnett. Here, a terrific pocket for Hogan to step in and make a nice accurate throw into coverage. And this is where Stanford has become what the reason they've gotten into being a top 10 program year in and year out. Had a little slip last year. Was this offensive line, and talking to David Shaw, when Jim Harbaugh got there, that's what they went after. You can get offensive linemen who want a great education. It's usually the highest GPA on the team, and they went out and got the best guys they could. Now they're an NFL factory, so it's an easy sell to these guys.
And I am not certainly I'm not pandering to former offensive linemen here, but you know as well as anybody else, that's where it starts. If you don't have an offensive line, you can't win.
It sets the toughness of your team, especially in practice, when you do inside run drills. If it's a tough physical group, your defense they have to get better, and they will. Plus, it allows you to do, if you're good on the offensive line, you can do anything you want. If you watch Stanford, they're a spread team. They'll pack you in. They'll run inside run with a lead back. They'll run screens. They can do everything because the offensive line can do it all.
They're packed in this time with a 7-man front. Straight ahead handoff to Ramon Wright, the senior. Leading rusher a year ago, 601 yards. The ground game was not that powerful.
It really is staggering how much better the offense got and how much better Kevin Hogan got. And Doc Punch just told the story about he'd held the news that his father was dying of cancer, did Hogan, but when he went for his final visit was told to relax, take every day as you can, and this offense has really followed that leader.
McCaffrey is not the tailback McCaffrey is the tailback in this set, I meant. Walker and Deontay Gibson were in on the stop, and that defense of the Wildcats playing much better as this game wears on. End of the quarter, 3-3 from Northwestern. Welcome back to college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com. Now, you don't see this very often, tailgating and fixing breakfast. Breakfast. Now, Stanford, they need breakfast. Their wake-up call was what this morning?
Pretty early.
4:40 West Coast time. Third and long for Hogan. 5-man rush. Hogan flushed, and they got it. Great effort by that Northwestern front. Anthony Walker led the charge.
Walker is playing out of his mind. Watch, he's got the quarterback in case he runs out. He'll read it. There's the hole I go. It's like a running back. This young man who was forced into the lineup last year, played great, got better each week. He's a terror so far. He's made just about every tackle, and he's been there for every different type of formation and been able to suss it out.
Miles Schuler is deep for Alex Robinson's kick. Kicks it out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. That is a 50-yard kick. A couple of punts have been marked sort of oddly. They're marking where the ball lands out of bounds instead of where it crossed the line. Help the kicker's average.
And if you're Clayton Thorson, you have to feel pretty good about yourself. Your first start in college against basically a brand new defense from Stanford, but what was a defense last year that was one of the best in the country. Your first game action since high school, playing awfully well.
Thorson on the option to Solomon Vault, and Solomon Vault turns the corner. Had 20 carries a year ago. He's a good receiver coming out of the backfield, and he's got some quickness.
And Cody Whitfield, who father Bob was a great player here, now playing safety. He got up a little slow from that. He was working his left arm. You can see him over on the hash covering the slot, but he's one of the few veteran guys they have in that secondary. Don't want to lose him.
Thorson with a fake. Guns it down the middle, tipped. He's had 3 passes that could have been picked. That time Blake Martinez got his hands on it.
Yeah, he gave Martinez no reason not to run to that ball. Thorson, if you study him, like a lot of young quarterbacks, may stay locked in a little bit. Martinez, a guy who the coaches expect good things from in his senior year. They feel like he can be at that upper echelon of guys like Miles Jack at UCLA and Scooby Wright at Arizona.
Bad snap. Northwestern will cover, but they let a 3rd and 2 get away from them, and they'll have to punt.
That was a big loss. You lost the 4-year starter at center, Brandon Vitabile, and this is the second one we've seen by Brad North, the new center. And the hard part in these new offenses for North, number 69 for Northwestern, that's a power run block, and then he's got to also snap it with touch. I was a center in college in the NFL. It is incredibly difficult. Just a sophomore North, he'll settle in, but you don't think about that loss of a 4-year center, but we've already seen it play in today.
Nice wander. Sometimes wears 87, sometimes 32. It depends on who else is on the kicking team. Rugby style kick.
And snaps
and goes sideways.
Snaps are an adventure. That one rolled back. The nice wander.
29-yard kick. Gorgeous day here at Northwestern. Welcome back to Northwestern. Can Ohio State make it 2 national championships in a row as they start against Virginia Tech? They're going to have to do it without their All-American Joey Bosa. He's one of 4 players who's suspended. And keep in mind that Virginia Tech coaching staff is a big game coaching staff. They have pulled off some major upsets in their time.
And the Hokies play awfully well at night in Plattsburgh.
Nice move by Hogan to get away from pressure. Room to run, throws instead and incomplete.
Oh, you want that back if you're a senior quarterback. You don't want to miss that throw. Excellent job bailing out on the miss by Drew Smith, who came free off the edge.
And Stallworth was open.
Yeah, and it looked like Hogan maybe rushed this just a touch as he threw it, but this is a 17-yard gain. Just missed it by a little bit. Good effort by Stallworth, but that's when you want back if you're Hogan, especially as well as he's playing lately.
Stanford starting in great field position from its own 43. Hogan, quarterback draw. Hit initially by Odenabo, the 6'3 junior, and he held it to only a 3-yard gain.
Excellent job by Odenabo. Came down inside. Just a sophomore. Played a bit last year. But remember, on 3rd and long last time, Stanford got very conservative. Let's see if they let Hogan throw it here. I don't know why you wouldn't have just a nice pocket pass. You've got 2 backs on either side, so you can pick up the blitz and get them out late if you need to. This looks like you're looking for something 7 to 15 yards in the route tree for Hogan.
Last 11 plays, they've been held under 10 yards. 3-man rush. Hogan again, pocket collapsing around him. He got the pass out complete to Wright, and Wright has enough for a 1st down.
And just this offensive line is the whole reason that you pick up this 1st down. Nobody's open. Northwestern secondary does an excellent job. I mentioned the 2 running backs. When they're there and there is no blitz, they're just going to go out and flare. And because the offensive line held up their protection so long, Wright was able to sneak out, get away from the man covering him. So good read, good everything by Hogan, but it was the offensive line giving him forever to find that late check down that picks up the 1st.
Northwestern dropped 8 men into coverage, couldn't stop it. McCaffrey gets a few and a first chance to check into the studio, and Adnan Burke.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Updating on what's happening right now with regards to Ole Miss. New quarterback, right? Bo Wallace is out. Chad Kelly's in to Markel Pack. Pretty good pass that was. 21-0 for Ole Miss right now. Kelly 4-7, 116 yards. Mike, Ed, back to you guys.
Adnan, thanks very much. This is 2nd quarter action from Northwestern. Stanford and the Wildcats tied at 3. Stanford driving. The 2nd and 7. Hogan under pressure again, and down he goes. The blitz from Travion Henry.
Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator for Northwestern, is just calling a beautiful ball game. He's not bringing a lot of pressure this time, deciding to bring a safety. Good inside rush that totally sucked up the offensive line by Deontay Gibson. Nobody is there for Henry. What a nice call by Hankwitz. Has to be awfully happy with how his guys are playing.
Beautifully designed blitz and a great play on Wright. Dean Lowry making a 2nd critical tackle.
But you're 3rd and long with a senior quarterback, and you're handing it off in a run formation. It's just awfully conservative. I mean, you've got a guy who completed 76% of his passes, is terrific on the long throw, And that's 2 3rd and longs in this first half that you've handed the ball off in a little bit of a, kind of white towel. Well, we didn't get it this time. Just kind of a wasted down, it feels like.
I think right now they're in the let's not make a mistake mode.
Probably. And early on, I understand that for sure.
Robinson booms one over the head of Schuler into the end zone. Second quarter, 10 minutes to go till halftime. Still 3-3.
Although our guy Anthony Walker.
That's the Deering Library on campus, dedicated in 1933. That's where they keep all the books, isn't it? Beautiful piece of architecture.
You sure that's not Hogwarts?
Northwestern, after forcing another punt, starts from its own 20-yard line. Jackson, the running back behind Clayton Thorson. Read option. Thorson keeps, gets a block on the outside, and picks up 10. Vitale really sealed off the end.
And for Stanford, who's getting pushed around a little bit, it looks like they're going to lose Harrison Phillips. Mentioned earlier, young man won the starting job, but he came off with a left leg injury. He's really hobbled. They don't have a whole lot of depth on that front.
Option to this side. Jackson on the toss, cuts it back. He's drilled as he got across the 35. Callum Bailey knocked him down.
Good clean tackle there on the quarterback. Defensive end, but Northwestern they're starting to get some rhythm offensively. Now you've got guys from Stanford on a front that had to replace every starter. Now you're starting to lose some guys on that starting line. You got to worry about the depth.
And Stanford may have to try a run blitz to get some pressure up front. And Aziz Chatou, well, that was a physical player. He just reached out and said, "You're not going anywhere."
And if you're thinking maybe it's a horse collar tackle, that doesn't come into play if the runner is between the two offensive tackles. But Chatou, a guy who's been banged up, missed a bunch of games last year with a knee injury. They're expecting him to really explode. A high-level guy that they just haven't got much out of because of injury.
Four-man rush. Thorson throws underneath, and he got it to Christian Jones, and that is his value. A big target who can get open in the middle of the field. He's made 3 catches.
If you're a Northwestern fan, you have to be doing backflips of what you're seeing. This is just such a different team than you had last season.
Jackson.
Justin Jackson, the ball carrier.
For more on Jones, here's Jerry Punch.
Guys, until today, Christian Jones had not played on the football field since Thanksgiving of 2013. ACL tear, repair, rehab. Got it tweaked a little bit in the spring. They say he's not 100%, but because he didn't have the full reps in fall camp, but he's making a difference today.
Boy, he sure is. And Jerry, if you take away the leading receiver from 2012 and 2013, it leaves a gaping hole in your offensive scheme. And there was nobody to replace him at that spot.
No, and he's coming off on 3rd and 5, that inside receiver kind of spot you'd think he'd be there, which makes me feel like bringing a little bigger body in, this might be an option type of run.
Got Warren Long in as the tailback, number 13. Instead, they go out in the flat, and this will be an interesting spot. Was he out of bounds? No, they give him a great spot on that. As he extended the ball, Dallas Lloyd, the converted quarterback, was the man who knocked him out of bounds.
What a terrific play call. You brought in the bigger body Dickerson for the receiver. What a great stretch that time by Dickerson to get the first down, but he runs out like he's running across the formation like it's going to be a run play and slips into the flat. Good play call.
Quarterback keeper. Thorson will get about 3, taken down by Callum Bailey again. He's out of Matthew, North Carolina. Northwestern's been impressive, haven't they?
Really impressive. And, when we came last year, and it was just a disastrous season for them. But they were talking about Thorson already. They said, we've got a guy that is highly recruited. You never know how good they're going to be, but we really think has a chance to be special. They feel like he's kind of like a Mike Kafka, bigger than Mike, but if you remember the brilliant career Kafka had.
The tally, that's going to be ruled incomplete as the pass was low. Northwestern 5-7 a year ago. They missed 2 straight bowl games until then. Pat Fitzgerald had a streak of bowl games that went all the way back to 2007.
You know, on 3rd and 7, you don't have to get this all. This place of the field, you're outside of field goal range unless you pick up 10 or 15 yards. So I would think you're thinking about 4 downs here. Maybe a draw. You don't have to get it all here. I think you get 5 or 6, you're definitely going to go for it.
Solomon Vault, the new tailback, quarterback, keeper. He's got the first down and more. Thorson off to the races. Touchdown, Clayton Thorson, 42 yards. How about that? Recruited as a dual threat quarterback. Doesn't look that fast, but nobody caught him, did they?
They claim that he runs close to a 4.5. So in that 4.6 range, he's a taller guy. He doesn't have the first step explosive, but when he got in the open field, good block by Mike McHugh, and the safety in the corner couldn't get there.
Point after is good. 10 plays, 80 yards. 3 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock, and about 8 seconds off the clock on that one. Take a look at that last touchdown play.
Well, this is where guys who have not seen a bunch of ball, this is Jordan Perez, just a second-year player. He's got the quarterback, and because there was motion and movement in front of him, I think his eyes just got taken off of his responsibility. A terrific call, I think, by Mick McCall, the offensive coordinator, because it was really conservative. 3rd and 7, pick up 4 or 5, you're going to go for it. And not expecting to get a touchdown, but a nice surprise, I'm sure.
McCaffrey on the bounce, takes it across the 30. Adnan Burke has an update from the studio. Adnan.
Thank you very much, Mike. An update what's happening with Clemson. Lots of expectations around Deshaun Watson and company. Here he completes to Mike Williams. 4-yard touchdown, but he crashes into the uprights. We carted off, but did give a thumbs up on the way out. Williams, one of Todd McShay's top 32 players to look forward to this year. Early lead there. Mike, back to you.
Adnan, thanks very much. Certainly we hope that young man will be okay. Ouch. Well, now Stanford in a position they didn't expect to be in, trailing Northwestern by 7. Came in as almost a 2-touchdown favorite.
I don't think any of our viewers or anybody expected this.
Hogan goes to work, throws underneath and complete. Anthony Walker makes the stop on Austin Hooper.
Now
Hooper, one of the country's best tight ends. Haven't seen much of him in this game. They've got another kid. They love their tight ends at Stanford. Dalton Schultz, number 9, who is a very physical player. They think he could be one of the best in the country at that spot. McCaffrey. Cut down, ball came loose. Guess who's there? Anthony Walker. Travion Henry going to get credit for knocking it loose.
Great hit by Drew Smith, who came in. I think he helped knock it loose as well. Shoulder right on that elbow. Ball comes out. I think you got to credit Drew Smith with that one. I think
they got him at the same time.
Yeah, Henry may get it out. Let's see if Henry knocks it loose first. But boy, what a terrific tackle by Drew Smith. And there's Walker, just balanced and feeling good at that middle backer spot.
This is a throwback looking for the quarterback, and Thorson
short-armed it.
Yes, he did. He saw the safety coming. He saw Ronnie Harris off the corner, and it's a good thing he saw him out of the corner of his eye.
You cannot fault a guy who's 6'5" playing in his first college game when a ball is hanging up It was not there. They go for the throw, for the throwback. And you cannot blame him. If I'm the offensive coordinator, I say, that's probably a good one not to go up and make a play on. You'd have been cut in half.
High snap, that's going to mess up the timing of the play, and Justin Jackson goes down. Well, you can just see Ronnie Harris saying, hey, don't come out here with that stuff.
Yeah, Andrew Scanlon, the receiver who lofted it up there. Stanford did a terrific job. They had the backside post, which was what they were trying to get, the longer throw covered, and then they have the quarterback coming out covered as well. So come back to play another day, young man. Good call.
3rd and 12 now. Can Northwestern take advantage of this turnover? Thorson running for his life and was trying to set up a screen to Solomon Vault.
And a mental error, I believe, by Stanford's defensive front. It looked like they were in the neutral zone.
Offside, defense number 17.
Holy
5-yard
cow, what
penalty.
a break.
Yeah,
Replay 3rd down.
You go from 4th down outside of field goal range, so Northwestern's probably going to have to go for it. Now you give them a 3rd, and we'll call it still a little long, 7. And now, if you're David Shaw, now Northwestern, they pick up 2 or 3, they're likely to go for it on 4th. So I think you just gave them at least 2 more offensive plays with that penalty.
Exactly. Draw play, Jackson. Swallowed up immediately by Callum Bailly, who's having a heck of a game from that outside linebacker spot.
And you're right on the edge of Jack Mitchell, the kicker's territory. They're not very comfortable at this, so this is why Northwestern's going to go for it here. And if with Thorson, the way he can run, the way I'm not sure I want him sitting in the pocket necessarily, but Stanford with only 3 down linemen, maybe you do leave him in the pocket. If they're not bringing a blitz.
From here, it would have been 52 into the breeze. Is that a catch? It is. The catch made it to 26-yard line by Christian Jones.
Stanford did bring 5, so they did bring pressure in this offensive line, which struggled last year. Just had a really rough year. Did an excellent job, and that was a nice job by Thorson. Came back to his 3rd read, and now we're going to get a review to see if that was an actual catch.
We get multiple looks at this.
Now, the ball can touch the ground. The ball can touch the ground. The question becomes, through the process of the catch, if the ground's not there, could he finish it? That's close. As he goes down, watch to see if that ball moves when it touches the ground. Let it roll. It's allowed to touch the ground. That's not. It's if the ground helps him make the catch.
That is so close.
It's got to be indisputable video evidence. Remember, that's the thing here.
And the call on the field is a catch.
So
how do you overturn that?
I mean, the ball's moving a little bit as it touches the ground. I have to be honest, I think this is a really tough decision for the replay booth.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. 1st down.
Yeah. It's just the call on the field is so important because then the burden of evidence is on. You have to prove the other case, and you can't do it.
Well,
when it's that close.
They actually confirmed it, which means they agreed with the call. So they said, yeah, it was a good call, and very close. The ball's allowed to touch the ground, but if they determine the ball helps finish the catch, then it's incomplete. And that time,
exactly.
It did look to me like Jones would have made the catch, so I think it was the right confirmation.
3:45 and counting 1st half. Northwestern surprising Stanford. Jackson end around.
I don't know how much you need to do that down here. You've got a little bit of a run game going. You've got an option game going.
There have been some questionable play calls.
We got a broken face mask here for Blake Martinez. It looks like the buckles on the top broke off.
Jelani Roberts got the toss on that end around. It cost him 5 yards. Everything else is working. Trick plays can get you in a lot of trouble. Draw, Thorson. Solid tackle by Brennan Scarlett, who transferred from Cal. They said he was the best defensive lineman at Cal, has a year of eligibility remaining. So they've got him on the field. His brother, Cameron, a freshman running back.
And that's Brad North, the center that's had a couple of shaky snaps down, and they may have to get down to J.B. Butler, a freshman.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA, and Taco Bell's new $1 Daredevil Loaded Grillers. Try all 3 if you dare.
Welcome back to Northwestern. Starting center Brad North had to be helped off the field. So redshirt freshman J.B. Butler comes in, first snap of his career out of the shotgun. And Ed Cunningham, as a former center, not an easy way to go into the ballgame.
Well, and instead of going with Butler, the freshman, they actually moved the guard over last minute, Ian Park, to do that snap. I think they were a little worried about Butler on a 3rd and long against Stanford getting his first snap. So Ian Park moved over, and now you're in, because you got no yardage, you're in, getting towards career long territory here for Jack Mitchell.
This will be a 48-yard try. He's already hit from 31. He's got the leg, but it's wide. And now for today's Aflac trivia question. David Shaw, Stanford coach, one of 3 to lead a team to a BCS Bowl in each of his first 3 seasons as a head coach. Who are the other 2? You might get one. You're not going to get the other one.
Mike Bellotti and Butch Davis.
Neither.
Those are my 2 guesses.
Congratulations, you missed.
Colleagues of ours now, by the way.
Yes.
Well, Larry's coaching again, but excuse me, Butch Davis is on with us. So is Mike Bellotti.
Stanford now 2:35 to go in the half. Can they get something going on offense again? Rollins Stallworth makes the grab.
Have all your timeouts, but you do want to go quickly. So you see the hurry up here by Stanford. You don't want to burn too much time. You got a lot of field to go, and you don't want to have to rely on the timeouts until the end if you can. Outside
of the one drive, Northwestern has done a great job against this offense, and an offense that features Kevin Hogan, a 5th-year senior
and if
at
you're
quarterback.
And if you're Northwestern here on 3rd down, I'm not sure you use one of your remaining timeouts, but you've got to start thinking a little aggressively if you're Northwestern too. Don't get caught off guard here. You're the one in the lead. Keep your foot on the gas.
4 wide receivers in this set. 4-man rush. Hogan under pressure throws, and it looked like a catch at the 49-yard line. Francis Owusu, and an official comes in late and said no grab. Dean Lowry was putting the pressure on Hogan.
And now, because of the incomplete pass, the clock stops before 4th down. Yeah, that ball came loose. You could see the left hand come off. They're very different than what you saw with Christian Jones a moment ago. And look at this, 3 timeouts for Northwestern, 1:38. They have a true redshirt freshman quarterback. I'm not sure how risky they will get, but you have tons of time. The college game, of course, clock stops out of bounds and for 1st down. So
Robinson to kick to Schuler. Angles it toward the sideline again, and Schuler fumbles the ball out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. A 46-yard kick, a chance to check in with Adnan Virk.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Coming up in the Lexus halftime report, we know the Heisman's won on day 1, right? Nick Chubb, fantastic for Georgia. 2 touchdowns so far. Highlights from around college football. Plus, Joey Galloway and Danny Cannell with newcomers to keep an eye on not only today, but the rest of the season. A couple of quarterbacks you'll want to know their names. All that more coming up. Lexus halftime report. Mike, Ed, back to you guys.
Yeah, Dan, thanks so much. We'll be watching.
Clayton Thorson's a name to know.
Yes, it is.
He's playing well.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Jackson to the outside. Gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Kevin Palma, number 44, dragged him out.
Well, now this gets interesting. If I'm Stanford, I'm sitting on this timeout. Just got a break because the running back went out of bounds. If you're going to run it, you want your running back staying in bounds. I think the idea here for Northwestern, and I understand it with a young quarterback, let's not make a mistake. If we get out to the 40 or so, maybe we take some shots. But Stanford, I think, has to start thinking about those 3 timeouts, try to get the ball back for their senior quarterback.
Clock's running, 1:12 and counting.
I can see why you wouldn't call it here on the third down. If they pick it up, it would have been a waste.
No, I think you should have called the timeout. You've just burned another 20 seconds off of this thing.
Yeah, if I'm Northwestern, I'm in no hurry to run this play, and a little surprised if Stanford uses none of these timeouts. This is just an awfully conservative to save some time for their offense and try to force a punt at least.
Thorson almost had it picked. Threw it off target, intended for Vitale. Now he's made some great plays, but he has been very fortunate on throws that could have been picked.
And really, for Stanford, with the incomplete pass on first, you wouldn't call a timeout after a first down. You called second and third with this many timeouts, but they get a little break now if they can get a stop after this one and start using those timeouts.
Timeout.
Northwestern will take
their first
one.
of the half.
I think they want to
30
talk
seconds
about
in
the
length.
strategy at this point. We'll give you our Aflac trivia answer. The question was, David Shaw, one of three coaches to lead a team to a BCS Bowl in each of his first 3 seasons as a head coach. Who were the other 2? We already got Ed's guesses. Totally incorrect. Chip Kelly and Larry Coker.
You didn't even get what I did there. I gave you both of their successors.
Oh, that's
See what I was doing there?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I was going deep.
That wasn't the question, though. Who succeeded the 2?
Oh, I misread it.
No, yes, you did. Yes, you did. We got to get you on a game show if you're going to be that advanced. David Shaw, 2 Pac-12 championships in 12 and 13. And he succeeded Jim Harbaugh. I think it's great that Harbaugh is back in college coaching. He's good for the game. You know he's going to win.
Tough loss for Michigan against Utah, but you do know eventually it'll turn.
Give him a couple of years. He's going to have a powerhouse.
The question is, how long do you think, if you're a Michigan fan, that does he stick around?
I think he's there for the long haul. Warren Long gets the call for Northwestern.
If I'm Northwestern, I'm not. I mean, keep running it, because what if you pop one? But now the question becomes, what if you fumble? I mean, now you don't even have. If the idea is to get to halftime, you don't have to even hand this ball off. And I think for Stanford, because of that first down, I'd like to have seen them use a couple first downs to try to, or timeouts to get the ball back. But because Northwestern was able to pick up some good running yards, just nothing there.
I think this is the right choice. Go to the locker room and celebrate exactly what you have done in the first half. Great show for the Wildcats, who came in 2 touchdown underdogs. But now at the half, our score is Northwestern 10 and Stanford 3. And we send you to Adnan Virk for the Lexus halftime report.